Hi, guys. Welcome back. Today, we're going to visit with pharmacist Michael, and he's going to answer the age-old question, is chronic inflammation making you fat? Let's check it out.
Today, we're talking about the role of inflammation in weight gain. Inflammation, which is the body's natural response to injury or infection, plays a significant role in our overall health. When inflammation becomes chronic, it can have detrimental effects on the body, including weight gain. How does this happen? What can we do to stop it? Chronic inflammation is a persistent, low-level immune response that can result from various factors such as poor diet, sedentary lifestyle, stress, and underlying health conditions. When inflammation persists in the body, it can lead to a cascade of events that contribute to weight gain. When your body is inflamed, it can mess with how insulin operates. Think of insulin as the key that unlocks your cells to let in sugar for energy. Inflammation, though, throws a wrench in the works. You see, inflammatory stuff in your body makes insulin less effective. This means sugar levels in your blood go up, and your liver starts hoarding fat, which makes insulin resistance even worse. It's like a tag team of trouble. Inflammation and insulin resistance play off each other, creating a never-ending loop. You gain weight, which makes insulin resistance worse, and insulin resistance makes it harder to shed those extra pounds. It's a real catch-22. When your body's fat tissues get inflamed, it's like they're sending out emergency signals. These signals trigger the release of harmful stuff that can put the brakes on your body's fat-burning machinery. It becomes harder to break down and burn fat, which means those extra pounds find a comfy home in your body. And then there's your metabolism, which is like your body's engine. When it's running smoothly, you burn calories efficiently. But when inflammation barges in, it's like pouring glue in the engine. Your metabolism slows down, and that means you're not burning calories as well as you should. Over time, this can also lead to weight gain. So it's like a double whammy from inflammation. It messes with your fat burning and your calorie burning. Think of leptin as your body's hunger regulator. It's the hormone that signals your brain when to chow down, when to put the fork down, and even when to rev up or slow down your metabolism. But here's the catch. When you gain weight and inflammation starts to party in your body, leptin doesn't work as it should. In fact, a 2020 study found that when you pack on those extra pounds, your leptin goes haywire. It's like your brain is missing important messages, and that's bad news. Leptin levels drop, and when that happens, your appetite goes into overdrive. It's as if your body thinks it's starving, so it tries to hold on to every calorie it can, making it tough to shed those extra pounds. But wait, there's more to the story. Weight gain, inflammation, and issues like insulin resistance team up to make things even trickier. Throw stress, sleepless nights, processed snacks, and a whole lot of sitting into the mix, and it's a recipe for inflammation overload.
Thank you, pharmacist Michael. So obviously, inflammation sounds like something that's good if you actually have wounds in your body, right? You need the area to kind of puff up so that your body can kind of fight that infection or whatever might be in that wounded tissue. But when it comes to weight loss or weight gain, it sounds like inflammation isn't necessarily one of our friends in those scenarios. Now, for the rest of this video, pharmacist Michael went into some great tips on how you can get rid of inflammation, or at least how you can combat it, right? And I recommend that you check out his channel and subscribe to his content. But let's get the answers from another point of view. Now what we're going to do is visit Mel Can Nourish. Check this out.
A way to test for inflammation is via a blood test administered by your MD, testing your CRP levels. So how does one reverse chronic inflammation so that they have a fair chance at weight loss? Here are my 8 tips. Number 1, change your diet. Off the hop, cut down on fatty red meats and stick to lean poultry. Better yet, try and incorporate a vegetarian, pescatarian diet rich in phytonutrients and omega-3 fatty acids until you start to see improvement.
Did she say cut your fatty asses?
And most importantly, reduce the inflammation. Lots of purified water, herbal teas, and antioxidant-rich beverages like spirulina and green drinks will serve helpful with chronic inflammation.
One of my favorite venters, Lily, has a pescatarian lifestyle. From what I understand, Lily, who's from Canada, by the way, was a vegetarian or vegan and pretty strict on that for a number of years. And recently, she started adding fish to her diet, and I think it's going well for her. So, Lily, if you can tell us any information about your pescatarian diet that you enjoy or you think we might want to know, let us know in the comments.
Take a pause from alcoholic beverages. Don't worry, this doesn't mean forever. It just means until you rectify your issues. And most importantly, reduce the inflammation. Lots of purified water, herbal teas, and antioxidant-rich beverages like spirulina and green drinks will serve helpful with chronic inflammation. Number 3, reduce coffee intake. Coffee has been proven to increase inflammation because it's very acidic. So if you can replace it with beverages like green tea or matcha tea, you'll be boosting your system with antioxidant power to counter the free radical damage that's been taking place within your body for years. Number 4, boost your microbiome. So a balanced microbiome will help in reducing overall systemic inflammation. So you can do this by eating fermented foods like apple cider vinegar, kimchi, fermented sauerkraut, like kombucha. You can also further support the microbiome by eating foods rich in prebiotics, which feed the healthy bacteria and help it proliferate. So these include asparagus, apples, garlic, and even onions. Number 5, take a break from gluten and dairy. So these two can be irritating to existing inflammation. So taking a break can give your body the time it needs to repair. Number 6, get your Z's. Getting anything less than 8 hours of undisturbed sleep will trigger inflammation even in the healthiest person. So get to bed before 11 p.m. and make it count. Number 7, manage stress. You may be doing everything else right, but if you don't manage your stress levels, rest assured you'll be internally inflamed. So take breaks, visit nature, meditate, listen to soothing music, whatever it takes to decompress, do it. And number 8, move your body. Studies show that just getting 20 minutes of movement each day can be enough to help reduce inflammation. And there you have it, guys. 8 ways to reduce systemic inflammation to in turn help your weight loss journey.
So if you liked Pharmacist Michael or Milk and Nourish, I will definitely put both of their channels in our description here, and you can follow and give them a subscribe because they're both great. The thing I liked about both of them, they both have soothing voices that are easy to listen to. And when you like people's voices, it's really easy to take their advice, and they both have excellent advice. Here's some good advice for you to get rid of that stress and help you lose some weight. Go get your shoes. Let's go for a walk.
There's that dog. There's the dog that visits her boyfriend and uses the crosswalk. What a good dog. Hi, puppy. Bye. What a good dog. That reminds me of when I was younger. It was not uncommon for us to
break out of our house in the middle of the night to go visit boyfriends and girlfriends, right, guys? Oh my God, we used to do anything to visit our significant other. Nowadays, the boys and girls don't even like each other. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the chicken ka-choo. I don't know if you guys have been seeing reports on the news, but I love me a good scary story, and I'll tell you, everything I'm hearing about the chicken ka-choo sounds very, very scary. So check this out. Wild birds have been dealing with the chicken ka-choo for quite a few years. I think even since like the late 90s, right? And all of a sudden, over the last handful of years, we've had situations where these different wild fowl have kind of done their situation, some way, somehow it has spilt over into the domestic poultry that we eat, right? And so the domestic poultry, they have ways of some way, somehow getting into the bovine population, our cattle, our cows. Our cows then create the milk. In these dairy farms, kittens have been drinking the milk. So all of a sudden we hear this narrative of how these wild fowl have somehow spilt over and got their chicken ka-choo. I'm saying chicken ka-choo just in case the other way of describing it is frowned upon, right? Because it's a foul situation. But anyway, they end up getting this spillover situation, and it starts affecting the domestic chicken that we feed people. And what we have to do is we have to take large numbers of these fowl whenever they find this illness, and we have to put them down. We have to eliminate all these birds. We have to cull them, as they say. And now it's spilling over into the bovine or the cow population. As you guys know, when it comes to chicken and then beef, that's predominantly what we eat here in America. So all of a sudden the cows have it, and all of a sudden the milk cows give it to the cats. The cats take it out and give it to the different animals like squirrels and such, right? Because I'm sure we've all seen pictures of squirrels eating people's cat food, right? In the back of their house and stuff. So all of a sudden you have this situation where this chicken ka-choo is now in a bunch of different mammals. And the scary thing is over the past 20 years, we've had about 888 people that have gotten this illness, and 50% of them have passed. Now, I don't know about you, but we have what, 8.5 billion people, almost 9 billion people on this planet. Could you imagine if in the course of maybe a 2 to 5 year period, that got blended down to maybe 4 billion? Oh my God, that would be the creepiest thing ever. That is the ultimate scary movie. And here's the scariest part of it. They're setting it up, and I don't mean setting it up in a negative way. I'm not looking at it from a conspiratorial point of view. Guys, I'm looking at it from a scary movie point of view, okay? They're setting it up by literally telling us that this is the next pandemic. This is gonna happen. In other words, the dreaded disease X is probably gonna be this chicken ka-choo. Do you guys sneeze with the word ka-choo? I'm trying to make it where you guys understand what I'm saying. So anyway, my goodness, pretty soon you're gonna wanna walk, take your daily walk just to get away from people, you know? Oh my God, that sounds scary. So how do we view this, Jesse? What are we gonna do if all of a sudden the world is about to die? Well, if we get to a point where you're not allowed to go outside, and we're not allowed to hang around each other, then what I would definitely recommend is sooner rather than later, see if you can purchase yourself some sort of treadmill, so that if we ever are stuck in our homes for a couple years at a time in the next handful of years,
hopefully we can still work out and stay healthy. Oh my God, what would that do to people? Could you imagine, this last situation we had where we were all stuck in the home for a year or two? That had such a negative impact on our country, especially with our students and children, right? Could you imagine if all of a sudden you take that same situation and you multiply it by maybe 2 or 3 extra years? So all of a sudden you're in your house for the next 5 years? Oh my God, that would just be a nightmare. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Maybe let us know in the comments. Don't get too conspiratorial, even though I know it's real easy to want to go that route. My thinking is, from what I've heard on News Nation and different reports, ooh, my goodness, it sounds like this is not going to be a good thing. It sounds like this particular virus has a real tricky way about it, has a real way of morphing into different things. And now, like I said, they think it's crossed its way into mammals, and it has crossed its way, into cows and different animals. So pretty soon, it sounds to me like we're not dealing with an if, but a when type situation. So apparently the same thing that happened a couple years back is probably going to be happening again. The thing that makes it so weird, the little asterisk, is I'm sure you guys have heard that we've had other countries that aren't necessarily friendly to America. We've had other countries and they've been taking their people, mainly men, and they've been coming up from our southern border. And so my scary movie mind is like imagining them having little vials of the chicken cachou. And imagine they come to America, they get themselves a little apartment, right? Doesn't really matter if it's a good or bad neighborhood. All that matters is they're in an apartment, in and amongst people. And all of a sudden, imagine they get the green light from their country, and we're expecting guns a-blazing and, mayhem. And imagine it's not that at all. Imagine it's just a guy infecting himself with an illness and then going to a pool on any given weekend and infecting a handful of people. And there you go. Boom, instant mayhem in a country. Now multiply that by X amount of thousands of people, and you could have a situation where all of a sudden people start getting sick and dropping like flies. Here's the interesting thing though. Some scientists say that in order for a virus to be successful, it actually has to have a small kill rate, because imagine if you infect 5 people and imagine if half of them pass away. That seems like a situation where you could probably lock down that virus pretty quickly, right? So again, that's why my mind's eye, I don't envision one person infecting, a handful of people in a small town. I envision thousands of people infecting tens of thousands of people in the course of a weekend. And you find out within the next week or two that people are dropping like flies. I'm telling you, that could be a real apocalyptic type situation. Oh my goodness. Did anybody here ever see the movie The Stand with Stephen King? There's a picture in there's a clip in the first part of the movie where they have this real scary music in the background. Don't fear the Reaper, right? And then in the background of this movie, you see this guy and he's trying to get out of this little town or this area, and you just see all these scary looking bodies of people that have expired, and it's just like, holy moly, that is scary. And just could you imagine if your human eyes saw something like that? Imagine you go on your walk and you see people in front of their home, freaking out and dropping like flies right in front of you. And you're just taking your little walk, talk, vent, walk, like, holy moly, good morning. Ah! Holy cow. Now I know some of us are thinking, yeah, that would be crazy, Jesse, but there's a percentage of us that are watching thinking this is freaky because this could happen and probably will. What is interesting, what makes it a wild card for conspiracy theorists is we're getting really close to the election here. At any time, something could pop off and make it where, all of a sudden the election doesn't go through. All of a sudden we're dealing with a combat situation. There's just a million different things that could happen. And I'm looking forward to seeing it just for the entertainment value, What I try to do as a person that has a faith in the Lord is I try to look at life like it's a continuum, that when you pass away, it appears that you're gone forever, but what's really happening, guys, in my belief, is that death is more like a doorway. Does it lead to the next life? Potentially. Does it lead to some heavenly realm? Potentially. Usually when we mention the heavenly realm, the non-believing atheists start to roll their eyes, but does it lead to a reincarnated life? Who knows? The thing that I don't think it adds up to is I don't think it adds up to nothing, I don't think one day we close our eyes and then that's it forever. If it is that way, that is peaceful, because if what the scientists say is true, that the earth is 4.6 billion years old, well, if that's the case, that means that most of us have only been around for the last, X amount of years. Before that time, I assume the earth was still here, right, before we were born. And I don't remember any pain or misery or hurt, right? So I think it'll be peaceful when you close your eyes for the last time. But at the same time, I just don't think that's going to happen. I have a feeling we close our eyes for the last time in this world, and then we open them up as a baby somewhere else, By the way, you want to know what's interesting? I've thought about this ever since I was a tiny little kid. My first memories were me being 3 or 4 years old, already speaking English. It's weird. None of us remember learning how to speak our language, right? You just woke up one day and you were about 3 or 4 years old, and you probably remember a couple days before your first day of kindergarten. Someone out there, I can't be the only one, that remembers a couple days before kindergarten, right? So I think that's when we first start getting our memories. I'm really on a tangent today, but these things fascinate me. These things absolutely fascinate me. When we were going through this situation the last handful of years, where we were all working from home and stuff, I didn't find it as freaky as everybody else. I found it kind of fascinating because I was like, is this really what the end looks like, And I just had a feeling it wasn't, because everybody knows family members and friends that have, passed the last couple of years from different illnesses. But at the same time, a lot of people don't have any friends or family that passed, So it was weird. It was one of those situations where for the first year or two, it's like, is this real? Does anyone even know anyone that's been affected? And then slowly but surely, we started hearing about cousins and friends of family members and family members of friends and different things like that. You know what my thinking is? My thinking is we probably could have saved a lot of those people over the last handful of years if we could have gotten to them years before and gotten them on a healthy walk schedule, right? Where maybe they could have dropped a good 15 or 20 pounds. They probably could have fought that illness a little bit better. Because I don't know if you guys agree or not, but it looks like a lot of the people that had trouble with the last little illness that went through society, a lot of them were kind of obese and overweight. I think whenever you're obese or overweight, you naturally have breathing issues, and it makes sense, right? We've all seen our big overweight friends. They go up a flight of stairs and they're kind of winded and out of breath, right? They walk 15 or 20 yards and they have to kind of keel over and catch their breath, And I think a lot of us know people like that. The main thing is, if you're a person like that, then I think you trying to take on a walking routine I think that's a beautiful thing, because what that tells me is that you'd like to actually stay on this planet a little bit longer. And if you have family members and people that you care about, I think they would love the idea of you trying to be the healthiest version of you. What do you think? You know? Hey guys, if you're brand new and you're on your third or fourth day with me, I want you to know that this is about that time where it's real easy to quit. And people don't necessarily quit because the walking is miserable. A lot of times, believe it or not, you'll quit because you'll say, hey, I understand Jesse's plan, so I can go ahead and do this at any time in the future. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my normal thing now, and maybe in the new year I'll start Jesse's plan then. The brain is real tricky like that, guys. The brain really does love the idea of quitting. But that's where I need you to be strong. And if this is your first day, what I want you to do is I want you to make a commitment to walk with us for at least 15 to 21 days. If you give me the 15 to 21 days and then you want to quit, at least I know that you tried to make it a part of your routine or a part of your daily habit. And if you're not able to make it 15 or 21 days because it's just miserable and you hate it, then I appreciate you at least trying, okay? But if you do make it 15 to 21 days, I have a feeling that we'll have you in the clear, in the clear where you can make it from that point on without any issues. So again, if you're brand new and you want to do a walking routine, don't try it for 1 or 2 days with us. It's not going to do anything magical. I need you to try it for 2 or 3 weeks with us in a row where you don't take any days off from walking. And what you'll quickly find out is your first couple walks, you're going to walk really slow. And by the time your 2 or 3 week period is over, you're going to be walking quite a bit faster. By the way, to anyone that's listening that went through the first 90-day challenge, if you don't mind, can you give us a little replay on what you felt was your speed the first couple of days compared to now? In other words, your first couple of days, were you walking kind of a slow, just kind of relaxing pace? And did you find yourself after a handful of days and a handful of weeks, did you find yourself naturally walking faster? Because I think most venters would agree that if you can walk with a little bit of a brisk pace, that's good. But I also think most venters would agree that you don't have to force it. It'll just come naturally. So your first couple of walks, just walk slow. Take a look at your neighbors' yards. If you see some neighbors out and about, say hello. Enjoy your walk the most that you can. Good morning. Enjoy your walk the most that you can, because it is kind of a beautiful thing to be able to enjoy your neighborhood, when you purchased your home or when you rented where you're at, you didn't rent it just for the 4 walls that you reside in every day. You rented it for your next door neighbors. You rented it for the school in the neighborhood. You rented it for the pretty houses that are surrounding yours. Why not get out of your house and enjoy what it is you're looking at, where it is you're living? When you're out and about and you're walking, I believe you make neighborhoods safer. Because if I was a shady character ready to break into cars or jump into somebody's backyard, guess what I'm looking out for? I'm looking out for walkers like you so nobody can see what I'm doing. So when you're out and about and you add to the walking population of your neighborhood, it's my belief that we make our neighborhoods better. We make our neighborhoods safer. And if you see some strange person messing with your neighbor's house, tell your neighbor, let them know, hey, I want to let you know I saw some guy messing around looking in your car window. What happens if they see money in your car and they're looking in your car window? One day you'll walk out of your house and your car window will be destroyed. It'll be broken. And that $5 or $6 you have in your console will be taken. Now, I think we can all agree nobody cares about the $5 or $6 of change that you have in your car. But if you have to replace a window for a couple $100, heck, that's no fun at all, is it? So if you can tell your neighbors that, hey, even when you're not around, I'm keeping an eye out and I'm looking out for you, That's how you develop friends and camaraderie in the neighborhood. And before you know it, when you go out of town to visit your family, they're going to be the ones that'll give you a phone call and say, hey, want to let you know we saw some weird character at your house, but we chased him away. If people are looking out for each other, that's when all of a sudden we can start taking back our neighborhoods, So if you're brand new and you're on your third or fourth day, I want you to contemplate this. You're starting to walk. You're starting to hopefully realize that your walk's not too difficult. Hopefully you're starting to drink water as well. We want you to drink water because number one, it fills up your stomach a little bit. Number two, it keeps you really well hydrated. And that way when you go on your walk, hopefully you won't faint or get sick out in the heat. And if you are overweight and out of shape, it's very important that you baby step into your walk. Some of us are walking for an hour or more a day, but you got to remember, some of us have been walking together for 2 or 3 months in a row. We've built up to that. If any of you guys are walking like Sean, 6, 7, 8 miles a day, let people in the comments know that you've built up to that. Because I have a feeling if we were really at our worst and we go outside and think, hey, I'm going to walk this off in one day. I'm 150 calories burnt in half an hour, like Jesse says. I'm going to go take an 8-hour walk. Guys, that's not necessarily the best route to take. That could literally rip up your feet and give you blisters. And I don't know about you, but it is not fun to walk on blistered feet, okay? Another thing it can do is if you start having ankle or knee issues, it can really make those things worse. So when you hear stories of people walking 4 or 5 miles, which is not uncommon, we hear that all the time on our channel, just know that you're going to be at that level soon. But I wouldn't jump into that level now. Those are real easy ways to get burnt out. But at the same time, Sean, you walked 8 miles for Father's Day. That is quite an accomplishment. Lily, I think you walked 5 miles because you said Sean motivated you. That's the key, guys. When you come here, you'll find that there's so many positive comments in our comment section, and there's a lot of people rooting for you. Everybody wants the venters to succeed. Even people that aren't watching our videos, they deep down want people to succeed as well. So just know you've got a lot of people rooting for you. You got to stay positive. Even if something like, an illness starts hitting the country in droves, that doesn't mean that you just give up on your goals. It just means that we might have to take these battles indoors. And if you have to take it indoors, let's still do it together, Where did Walk Talk Vent go? Oh my God, the chicken cachoo got him. If the chicken cachoo gets me, just know that that's a part of life, right? You deal with worst case scenarios. I want you to keep walking for the rest of your life regardless. That's the crazy thing. You can get as healthy as you want, but if it's your time, it's your time, But I'll tell you what, if they find out that half the people perish from this various illness that's coming down the pike, I want us to be on the side that survives. And if the side that survives has to be as healthy as possible, then by golly, let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's get super duper healthy. That's my goal. And I feel like I'm already starting at such a good point. Now I'm taking on the challenge from 166 pounds. Good morning. What a beautiful poodle. Hi. That's what my poodle Hershey looked like, but mine was a mini poodle, so about a third of that size. I wouldn't mind getting a little teacup poodle. Those are cute. I love poodles because their hair is so soft. They have the softest hair out of all the dogs, in my opinion. And if you're allergic to animal hair, get yourself a poodle. They're non-allergic, non-allergen. I can't talk some mornings, as you guys know. What happens is you have this really dry mouth because Arizona just has a way of drying you out overnight when you sleep. But yeah, I love I love the scary movie scenarios, but this one's a little bit too close to happening, so I don't know if it's really the most fun, scary, apocalyptic scenario to go over. But I do know this: if we're going to go into this scenario in the future, we owe it to ourselves to be as healthy as we possibly can. And if we can get healthy and lose weight at the same time, and if we can do it relatively quickly, you know, then maybe we can be in the best shape possible to tackle this, you know? I have a feeling that if you're not in good shape, it's gonna take you down real easily. So with that being said, let's all lose weight together. Let's lose weight together. Bum, 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 bum. I'm starting to see more people out here walking. The key is, can they get out here more than not? I think what happens is people walk every couple of days. Hey, good morning. And by the way, if you're doing that to yourself, where you're trying to walk one every 3 or 4 days to get motivated, even though that sounds like a good idea, like, hey, I'm getting kind of used to it and I'm trying to build off that. And if you do, that's great. You know, everyone's different. But I would really recommend walking, 10 or 15 minutes each and every day. We got to get you to the point where you love walking. And the only way to do that is to do it constantly. And I know that it's real easy to say, Jesse, I'm not going out in this 100-degree heat. That's why I urge you, set your alarm, wake up in the morning. It's not 100 degrees now when I'm out. It's like 85, 90 degrees. And even though that's still hot as heck, it's a lot better than 110, you know? If you're starting to walk a little further and you're brand new, let me know in the comments. If you've been walking for a handful of days because you caught me the last couple of days of our last challenge and you're ready for that next step, keep going with it. This is awesome. Here's the cool thing. We do baby steps here. So even if you are new and you don't know what the next steps are, you can kind of predict what the next steps are. What we want to do is we want to slowly but surely take a look at all the sweets and things that you're eating. And we want to slowly but surely baby step off of them. So if your food audit tells you that you're eating 5 or 6, donuts a day and 3 or 4 sodas a day, and you want to do a next step and you don't want me to tell you what the next step is, well, the next step is this. We want to slowly but surely shave down your sweets. So if you know right now you're consistently drinking a 6-pack of soda or a 2-liter of Coke every day, you could easily cut that in half, still drink your soda, still enjoy it. But if you're going from 6 cans a day to maybe 3, that is a huge step. And if you can do that, that's awesome. If you can't quite do that, can you go from 6 sodas a day to 5? See, here's what's interesting as a person my size that doesn't really drink soda. I look at what I'm asking you to do, to go from 6 sodas a day to 5. And to know that for some of you that might be a challenge seems really bizarre to me. Because my thinking is you should be able to cut down just a little baby step. And I think deep down most of you think I can do that. And if you think you can go from 6 sodas a day to 5, that's a win. Let's take that win. Now on the flip side, I need you to go from drinking water for morning, noon, and night, in other words, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I need you to also try to fit an extra glass of water for each one of your snacks, because I would like you to get to the point where you drink 6 to 8 glasses of water each and every day, if not more. And the reason I want you to drink water is because pretty soon, hopefully what you'll find is that you're constantly hydrated. And when you're hydrated, hopefully you don't get that urge to drink a bunch of soda. And then if we attack your sweets in a baby step fashion, what we can do hopefully is get to the point where instead of 3 or 4 donuts a day and a candy bar here and there, hopefully we can get to the point where for this first couple of weeks, maybe we can get you to a point where you just have 1 or 2 donuts a day. I know this sounds ridiculous, but guys, we're dealing with people that are 60, 70, 80 pounds overweight. We're dealing with people that binge a lot. If you love Doritos, okay, when you eat a bag of Doritos, there are 15 servings that are 160 calories each in one bag of Doritos. If instead of Doritos, you can go to the store and get a bag of popcorn, like Skinny Pop, guys, you could literally devour a bag of popcorn, the whole bag, and it's only like eating a third of the bag of Doritos. So if you're one of these people that can binge eat a whole bag of Doritos, then here's the baby step that I want you to try, because it's the one I've been doing the past month or two. Get rid of potato chips and Doritos. Get a bag of Skinny Pop. And if you're poor, I love you. This is what I want you to do. Buy yourself a bag of popcorn kernels, right? You can get a bag of popcorn kernels for $1.50 at the store. Okay, so real quick, we've finished our walk. My battery just died. But anyway, if you're a Dorito lover like I am, or a potato chip lover, go to the store. Instead of Doritos this week, buy yourself a bag of Skinny Pop or some sort of popcorn or popcorn kernels. Let's get to the point where you step down off the Doritos by eating some nice popcorn, okay? Anyway, have a beautiful day. We can always do these little baby steps in a positive way, and we can eliminate the negatives too. Have a good day. I'll see you guys later.